Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are here. We are back. We can be heroes. Another episode with your boy John Torado, and of course my little brother Matt Torado. What's going on, little bro?
I'm so excited.
Uh,
I think this is by far my most anticipated episode because me and you had just been wanting to talk about the elephant in the room, No Way Home, at least more in depth. And
yeah.
now with the trailer finally released uh, after months on end, the leaked trailer before the official release, and all the bunch of leaks that photos that came out, which is ultimately the Sony and Marvel's fault. They waited this long, and it's truly a shame because this would have been so nice to experience organically, but nevertheless, it's here, and I'm just I'm ready to talk about. How are you doing, brother?
I am excellent, dude. I was so hyped. So I knew the Sony CinemaCon was going on Monday, and I was like, "There's no way if this leak that they're not going to release this tonight." And my prediction was it would have like over 50 million views by the end of the night. Like that was like if they had posted at night. They broke the world record for a trailer debut, surpassing Endgame with
Yeah,
this. So like, I mean, you got to think about it. Like, just to like go into for a quick second, Spider-Man: No Way Home was expected to have a multiversal issue going on, right? Like the multiverse was kind of introduced with Mysterio, or at least the concept of it. But then we knew the multiverse was an actual thing as WandaVision came along. At the end of WandaVision with the post credits, we knew, and obviously with the series Loki, with Sylvie destroying or killing Kang to essentially create the multiverse, right, or expand the multiverse. We knew it was coming. We knew some semblance of the previous Spider-Man characters, Spider-Man actors, actresses were going to somehow show up in this movie. But now we got the actual freaking confirmation of that, right? And I I think this is anticipated to be one of the biggest films in comic book history solely because, not solely, but maybe a big reason because it's touching on every generation that's had a Spider-Man, right? Like
yeah.
we have Sony's original, the OG Spider-Man that everybody loved. Now, if you compare it to current MCU content, maybe not as good. Maybe depending after Spider-Man 2, probably not. Definitely not. But that was our stuff. So like me, that was my generation Spider-Man. That was my as a kid growing up. Like, wow, I have Spider-Man to look at as a character. Now the MCU didn't exist, and no extended universes existed at the time anyway. But you have that crew. You have the Amazing Spider-Man crew, which is more of your generation a little bit,
For
right?
my
Where
yeah, definitely my
you kind of
generation.
grew up with him as your Spider-Man, and honestly, two movies that
Whoops.
aren't as good, but I don't mind them. Like the Garfield
I,
series, it's
I
they're not great. They're not great.
I feel like when you brought up Garfield, that's what triggered my laptop fall there. Like you're treading on thin ice, depending on what you're going to say next.
It's totally.
But
I like Garfield personally, but
I think he gave the best Spider-Man performance, hands down.
yeah, he
He was the most
absolutely.
talented actor out of the
And
three
you have to
main
think
Spider-Man.
the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, like that was so out of touch and out of tune with the current model of superheroes now. So
It
like
was very
it's
campy
it's
by today's
so
standards.
separate from what we know as comic stories now, comic book stories now, or at least on film. But still iconic, still generational, still something that a lot of people looked at and loved, right? At the time, and maybe not Spider-Man 3, we don't. Either way,
Yeah.
to have Garfield's next generation, and then now we have the current generation, which is I think is everyone, right? Everybody loves Tom Holland. All the fans of the MCU that have watched it from day one have grown to love Holland as Spider-Man. Maybe are not too happy with some of the storylines they've gone with. They kept it too small screen as far as Holland, right? I think the first two movies were with everything else going on in the MCU, it was so closed and boxed in. Like you can't act like all that other stuff doesn't exist, right? In my opinion, that's kind of where I was in my perspective.
Yeah. I will say though, and to your point, going into No Way Home, I've never seen the Spider-Man fandom unite.
Oh,
I
as a
think
whole, every
everyone
generation,
has something to be excited about.
yes,
For Maguire fans, you're definitely seeing him. Garfield fans, you're definitely seeing him. And then for those who like Holland, you get more of his character.
Right.
For
This
better or for worse, depending on where
I,
you stand
I
on how they've written him. But yeah,
honestly,
it's cool.
I
It's really
genuinely
exciting.
love the genuine excitement from all phases of Marvel, right? So different phases in terms of time, like the people that love the original Sony, the people that love the main Spider-Man. We're getting all of it, and I love that Marvel finally gave up in a sense because it didn't seem like they'd ever want to do this. But with the multiverse, you can do whatever you want. You're not The multiverse allows you to do two things, and it's kind of crazy because they're opposite ends of the spectrum, right? It allows you to either A, connect everything and say, okay, this is how it works, or B, just act like they don't really exist because you don't have to have them cross into your universe, right? They can stay in their own universe, but maybe in some future, this film specifically, in some future, you can have them just combine it and see what happens. So like
Oh,
I'm
absolutely.
totally okay with bringing all the Spider-Man together, having a more Into the Spider-Verse, which let's give credit. I'm gonna give Sony a little credit here. Into the Spider-Verse brought this idea to mind, right? I feel like no, if Into the Spider Verse didn't exist, there wouldn't be as much a push to make this happen.
Oh, no doubt. I think also as well as Sony probably looked at. Here's what I was saying to a few close friends of mine, and that was the original draft for No Way Home did not have anything multiverse related. You can 100% quote me on that. Sony probably looked at what Marvel's slate was in regards to what their intentions were with the multiverse. So maybe introducing a few elements of WandaVision,
Right.
specifically in the post credits scene, obviously. The no pun intended, the madness that we'll see in Doctor Strange.
Right.
So they're thinking to themselves, well, wait a minute, this might be the perfect opportunity to capitalize off of our properties, like say Tobey Maguire. Well, Spider-Man, they own the property of Spider-Man. I mean to say
OG.
like they can
Right.
capitalize off their original actors like
Right.
Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and then maybe even bring in a fair share of new villains, improve upon their character like Electro, or give them more updated um, sort of costumes. Chances are Green Goblin's going to receive a massive upgrade because I know his original one is not very well liked in the comic book community.
Right.
The one in Raimi's universe, but
Right.
yeah, I mean that's why I am a bit nervous because this could just very well be another soulless property, and they just with a bunch of fan service. But I think at the same time, I just want to honestly, I'm more excited to see Garfield because he deserves his redemption
Right.
after what they did to him.
Right.
Post Amazing Spider-Man 2, I mean, they fired him because he couldn't even attend a press conference. He came down with the flu and couldn't fly out to. They were going to announce Amazing Spider-Man 3 the same day he was fired.
Wow.
Then from
So
that point, Sony approached Marvel to say,
I
"Hey,
will
we
say
have an
this. I mean,
interest
look,
in."
Garfield again extensively the best Spider-Man performance, even including Tom Holland, in my opinion, strictly performance-wise, not movie-wise. We can get into
Yes,
that later, but
certainly.
I I, I agree. Honestly, not only does he deserve this redemption, if the redemption goes well, go make more movies with him. If he wants to do that,
I was saying the same thing, bro. And
Sony just announced the SSU. Is it SSU or SU?
yeah, it's like Sony's
Sony
like
Extended Spider
like
Verse or something like that. The
it's like
SCX or something.
Sony's yeah, it's like Sony's Spider-Man characters or something. Like Sony
It's
Spider-Man
this
no,
extent.
Sony Spider-Man universe, I think it's called
Sony
now.
SSU, Sony Spider-Man
Yep,
Universe. Correct. Yeah, yeah.
exactly that.
So in that, they can continue with the multiverse. Like they already set themselves up themselves with just Into the Spider-Verse, right? And I'm okay with it. As long as I look, one thing I will say, I want the MCU and Sony to always have a working relationship when it comes to Spider-Man.
Yes.
I want Spider-Man to always have his imprint within the MCU, and I want Sony to kind of expand it. So, answer this question: you haven't been, I know, like in private conversation and sometimes in the podcast, you haven't been a fan of this push for solo films that are all Spider-Man characters, right? That Sony's been doing. If the relationship continues, and if this film goes extremely well, I don't mind it anymore.
I can tolerate it. I mean, I won't be excited, and the chances are I'll probably never see the movie in theaters until it drops on a streaming service. But what I want to see,
It won't disgust me
Spider-Man
anymore.
4 and the Amazing Spider-Man 3, it absolutely, and that's actually the perfect word to say. Like, I will not be disgusted. I can accept it. Like there's nothing I
Right.
can do. I'm the consumer. If I choose to pay for their movie to support future sequels, future projects they release, etc., that's on me, right? Um, and at the end of the day, Sony is all about making money. So they'll purposely to like have these filmmakers with low budgets just so they can get all the profit back opening weekend. That's which is smart from a company standpoint. Now, does that mean it's going to be of high quality? Probably not. Depending on film is subjective, right? So it all sort of depends on how you view the character they're making a movie about, and if the actual filmmakers and screenwriters are passionate about the material, that's different. What I want to see is legitimate conversations for Spider-Man 4, Sam Raimi Spider-Man 4, and the Amazing Spider-Man 3. That's definitely going to be a consideration. There's way too
If it goes
much
well,
if it goes
which
well.
it
It
will, it
absolutely will.
will.
It
We
absolutely will.
know. Well, I mean,
And I
money
want
just
to
talks,
see,
but
yeah, exactly. I want, you can quote me on this. Spider-Man 4 and Amazing Spider-Man 3 can easily make close to $1 billion alone.
oh, yeah, I agree.
Honestly.
With the thing is, Sony has a lot in their arsenal now too, right? Like they know, like God, even Garfield Spider-Man, it felt like they were so limited, even though they didn't have to be. But these days, with the MCU and the multiverse and all these different characters they've introduced, they have so much room to do whatever the hell they want. I mean, easily they can have Venom be in Garfield's universe if they want to, right? Where there's not an extended
Yeah.
Avengers crew out there that would question why is Venom able to do what he's doing and no
Right.
Avengers are stepping in.
Which is so useful. And
Yes.
I don't even
So
think Sony
Sony should be thankful in a sense the MCU is kind of
yeah.
separate.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. That's why I don't understand why Sony was pushing so hard to be MCU canon. Just make your own different
I
stories. Like
so I
your
think they wanted to
MCU,
be acknowledged as MCU product in a way that helps hype the film up and makes money, right? But
very smart.
but
Yeah.
which is what they should do. The multiverse really opened up a business perspective. You never even think of how
Oh,
something so
yeah.
small and small, but in terms of content, can really open up the business world for someone like Sony. You know what I
No,
mean?
yeah, no doubt in my mind. I think like their main problem was trying to push their movies into the main MCU timeline. You don't need to do that. You
Right.
all you have to say is this is MCU canon because we're in their multiverse.
Oh, that's
That's
what I
it.
think they're gonna do.
And I
No,
think in
for sure.
turn that would probably make people excited because you can still hint at the possibility of there being an alternate version of Tony Stark or an alternate version
I
of
mean,
some of these other
we're,
major Marvel
we're
characters. I mean,
already seeing
Sony
it
and
with What
Marvel,
If.
yeah, and Sony and Marvel are collaborating, right? I mean, Marvel's using characters uh, from at their disposal.
Right.
Sony can possibly do the same depending on how well the
Well, that's
relationship
that. I mean,
strengthens, and
you got to think if
it's
Marvel
exciting.
really wants to continue to have that Spider-Man connection, or they'll be able to use them, use him. I'm sorry, and the characters. Why? Just like you said, why Sony could say, "Hey, screw a money agreement. Let us use Black Widow. Let us use Iron Man. Let us use Hulk, but let us use different versions. We don't have to use Robert Downey. We don't have to use. We'll use Tom Cruise back when he was supposed to. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter. That's my point. They can make it a reverse relationship where they're able to explore a little more with characters, except Fantastic Four. We already had that messed up too much. But
Oh yeah,
it should.
poor
I mean,
team.
honestly, it should open up a lot. I mean, Tony, and or whatever characters you want to bring in. I mean, there's so many other characters they can have involved with Spider-Man in general. Maybe they use some X-Men characters. So who knows? I mean,
Yeah, the
they
possibilities are endless, and Sony
literally
would
endless.
be
There are
yeah,
billions of universes out
yeah,
there now.
yeah,
So
and billions of
there's
dollars Sony can make
both. Yeah,
um
all it could be. You
alone.
got to think. I mean, I I'll put it this way: they bring out an Amazing Spider-Man 3. I'm going to spend money on that. If they bring out Spider-Man 4 MCU, I'm going to spend money on that. If they like, I'm going to spend
Yeah,
money on good content.
yeah,
That's
absolutely.
screw the possibilities. But
Yes,
once you're able to do it, once the content's out, I'm spending money on it. If
yeah,
it's going to be
exactly.
good content,
What we want and what I want here on out from Sony is that if they do that Amazing Spider-Man 3 and 4, funnily enough, two sequels to Amazing Spider-Man 2 were in development. Uh, funnily enough, so let's just
right?
say they do 3 and 4 of that, a fourth final film for Sam Raimi's. I want those filmmakers to have full control. no studio interference, no trying to like
You know it's gonna be
yeah.
real quick. Sorry, you know it's gonna be for. I just don't want to forget this. A huge benefit for Raimi when Doctor. I'm saying when Doctor Strange is extremely successful, Sony's gonna want to grab his ass right back. I promise you.
Yeah.
I promise you.
Doctor Strange is definitely going to be that excuse me, will gross higher than the original. I think just for the multiverse alone, and again, the possibilities are endless with the characters they could bring in. For all we know, Tom Holland Spider-Man can make an appearance in Doctor Strange too. Just say, hey, right? I mean, that can very well just be the
You're right.
post-credit scene. How
It'd be
Spider-Man
hilarious
definitely
if they do
has
Tobey Maguire's just because Raimi's directing. If they had Tobey
that
Maguire
would
Spider-Man pop up.
honestly that bring a tear to my eye just to see those two collaborate once again.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, but yeah, I just like the problem with Amazing Spider-Man 2, for instance, there was like 26 different subplots in the entire movie. It felt like I was watching 16 different movies because every single scene was like, hey, here's a setup for Black Cat. And then, oh, look at the post-credit scene. We have Venom, Vulture, Doc Ock, like all these.
Everything,
It was just way too much thrown at you, and it just forgot to be a good movie. Amazing
Right,
Spider-Man is different. Like I would say, that's more self-contained. There's only one villain that comes to mind.
right.
Say what you will about the characterization of Spider-Man, Peter Parker, etc. But I mean, at least that movie was coherent. Like Amazing
Right.
Spider-Man 2 wasn't. It was just, disappointing nevertheless. But I digress. I guess that the real topic at hand is sort of the No Way Home trailer
This
itself.
trailer, baby.
Now,
This trailer.
so give me your. This is kind of a generic question, but it's best we start off this way. What were your thoughts? Because I don't believe you didn't watch the leak trailer, correct? So you went in blind,
Oh, I went in
not
totally
knowing
blind, and I mean, I
anything.
had
Yeah,
expectations. Like I kind of knew, um, quote unquote, knew because what we all know with with the multiverse, what they would do, right? Bring in the other Spider-Man, which was not technically confirmed, but as we go through the trailer, I mean, I have just kind of notes written down. Um, I'm gonna kind of cross question you and then talk about it as we go, if that makes sense. So,
yeah.
I love the MJ and Peter scene in the beginning, only because it reminds me of the original Tobey Maguire series when they're sitting on the web on the bridge. Um,
Oh, yeah.
Little reference to that. This weird. Um, Jay Jonah's back. We all obviously we knew this in Spider-Man 2 or Far From Home. Um, is that Matt Murdock or no?
Okay, so
Bro,
um,
I
Dan,
think it is.
uh, okay, so like I have
So, for those who don't know
again,
or haven't
yeah.
watched the trailer, when you go to watch the trailer, Peter's in jail essentially. He's probably arrested for the supposed murder of Mysterio, which I don't think Mysterio is actually dead. Um,
I think there is a twist. I'm gonna run by you.
right. So as he's arrested, he's in talking to the detective for the NYPD, and then there's another individual there that I believe to be his lawyer, which has been there for be Matt Murdock. I think it's him.
It doesn't look like so.
Not a
I don't.
Daredevil
I
him
mean,
though.
so okay,
And so doesn't look like don't mean shit because I got another point of that trailer to focus on towards the end as well.
yeah.
But I'm pretty confident that Murdoch is in there. They just had to use another like a
Yeah.
way to hide him.
Let me preface this by saying Matt Murdock is in the movie. Um, like a million percent. He's probably gonna have. I think he's supposed to have a max of 10 minutes, and it's probably just gonna be. It's probably gonna be in the beginning with the whole courtroom scene. So probably
Charlie
him
Charlie
defending
Cox, by the way, for those
Charlie
so
Cox.
the Netflix Daredevil is reported to be in the film, rumored. I want to say reported. I'm 99% sure he's in this trailer. Debatable. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
And I think but here's the thing though, is like I feel like they would have just shown him. You know what I mean? Matt Murdock won't bring people to the movie theater. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield will bring people into the movie theater.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Netflix.
Alfred
It was a
Morella
Netflix show.
Doc Ock will bring people to the movie theater. Willem
Hell
Dafoe,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So like
Hell yeah.
that's why I don't think it's him. They want to give it the impression because it wouldn't matter. Like we know he's in the movie.
Right.
He's rumored to be in She-Hulk. He's rumored to be possibly make an appearance in Hawkeye because I know Kingpin. This is a separate conversation that we can have. The new Echo series, that's a spinoff of Hawkeye.
Vincent
Daredevil also
D'Onofrio is
have a
rumored to
supporting
be
role,
in Hawkeye.
which Steph's kiss. Could
If
you
that,
imagine if
if
they do? Not to interrupt you, but like
no, you could.
I was gonna run by you and that like imagine the like a post credit scene, like the ending scene is like Peter, another character walking by Avengers Tower, and then they pan the camera up and there's this fist tower,
Oh my god.
and that would be like it would cut the black. Would that be the post credit scene?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Apparently Shang-Chi's post-credit trailer is insane. Or not post-credit scenes insane.
Yeah,
I'm
I heard, and I heard like
I,
the audience was went
shocked.
bombastic, like they were shocked and started screaming
Makes
out
me
the top
I
of their
can't wait.
lungs.
We're a week away, brother. A week and a day.
I know, bro.
Anyway,
I know,
sorry.
but
Distractions.
no,
Okay.
no, no. But you
Continue.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I know you want to bring up an idea, point, etc. So
Yeah, no. I just I think Murdoch's definitely involved. I just don't think he's Daredevil yet. And that's
that yes,
it's gonna be coming.
he's yeah, he's not going to be in a costume. I think they're
No.
waiting
It's
as
gonna be
early
him as the
as early
super
as
young lawyer.
yeah, as early as She-Hulk. I could see him. Well, I don't know. I would say definitely an Echo. We'll see him in the Daredevil costume.
Yeah.
I don't see him being Daredevil and She-Hulk because that'd be no, excuse me, like they're juggling a bunch of characters.
Yeah.
I mean, even Feige himself said, "Oh, you never know who might show up." You know,
Right.
lawyers.
I mean,
It's that, like
it's gonna be 100%. It's gonna be him maybe the things that happen in the series up until he's actually wearing the first costume before he gets his own series or before he gets his own movie, whatever you want to call it, is just him finding reasons to want to become that hero, right? So throughout She-Hulk, he's like, "Oh shit, I could have helped there. Like, why didn't I try to help her?" You know what I mean? Like, it's in the end, uh, as far as what the Netflix series did, he is a trained fighter. So like, he doesn't just do this uh, out of nowhere and learns how to fight as a blind person. He's taught from young how to fight, right? Like,
by his
so
mentor stick.
and why I think Iron Fist may be involved in the future as well, which might be a post-credit scene in Shang-Chi. Who knows?
Yeah, ready for Finn
Um,
Jones? Finn Jones back as Iron Fist.
nah, he's a fucking failure.
Okay.
So move on to the next part of the scene.
Found out the
We're
promo
getting
clip for
into the
today's episode.
yeah, right. We get into the Sanctum Sanctorum. So obviously, like I said, Peter's been kind of discovered as Spider-Man. The whole entire MCU knows him to be Spider-Man now. Which is kind of interesting because didn't Sokovia Accords kind of already put that to light? That's just my thing. I guess they forgot about that anyway. Um, he goes to look for Doctor Strange for help. So when he gets to Doctor Strange, there's this awkward encounter. First, he goes into the Sanctum Sanctorum, and he's like, it's just frozen over, right? Hell's frozen over, in my opinion, if you know what I mean.
No, no.
So,
Yeah, I know what you're
so
basing
hold
your
on,
comments,
hold on.
but
So he
continue.
he he goes there, and everything's all frozen up and iced up, and he's talking to Strange. And Strange is acting strange, no pun intended. Like he is not acting like the Steven that's gone through some shit. The Steven that like knew Tony was gonna die. Like Steven's kind of grown since Doc 1, right? Like we all can agree, Doctor Strange 1, he was the even towards the end of it, he was still the cocky guy, right? You would hope after being killed and brought back to life, you'd humble a little bit. That was non-humble Stephen Strange, okay? Weird as hell. That along with the fact that it's snowy in there and coldness and has to do with demons and devil, the fact that Wong specifically told him to not cast a spell that would help Peter with his issue, he winks awkwardly and then goes and proceeds to help him. This is Mephisto. Doctor Strange is being either controlled, manipulated, or is actually Mephisto in this movie. And you know what? I know I promised 17 episodes ago to stop theorizing and to stop getting my hopes up. But I've asked about Mephisto since the beginning of this year, and I am saying right now, this is Mephisto. I plead the fifth.
No. Uh, is the is the short answer. Um, but and here's why. Um, it's just it doesn't make sense. the being Mephisto, and remember they're taking elements of the One More Day storyline, which is infamous for many reasons. It is arguably one of the most hated storylines Marvel's ever created for that titular
Well,
web
because
slinger.
they broke up
Um,
MJ and Peter. I don't care about that crap.
and so uh, Sony and Marvel are intelligent enough.
Mm,
Uh,
Marvel is intelligent. Okay, go
then fair enough.
ahead.
And like we don't know the context of why he's agreed to the spell.
Oh, for sure. They
So
so
you know what I mean?
overall they left a lot of context out of this trailer.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Which I'm
First
very,
time
I'm
ever for
very
Sony
surprised. I
ever.
was very surprised how reserved they were with this 3 minute trailer because they usually put every single act together. They even showed
Right,
the final shot.
right.
Um, oh God, Sony. But anyways, yeah, it's not Mephisto. It's simply for all we know. My theory is this. I know you and Angel were having a conversation in the Marvel chat we have. Strange could easily just feel guilty after sort of blaming himself for like allowing Peter to lose his beloved mentor Tony Stark. I hate using that sentence because I hate that direction
Right.
they took with the character, but it's just a matter of Strange wanting to help Peter out, given all that he's been through, and the fact that he's nothing more than a 15-year-old who can barely handle himself. So that's it.
So
We don't know the context.
I
It's not, and why would Mephisto help him? Like you can he like cast a wish, and it's like, oh yeah,
oh,
no,
Mephisto has magical powers. Like, he's a
true,
sorcerer too. So just so you know.
yeah,
But so
yeah,
I get what you're saying. I get what
you
you're saying.
understand.
So
So it's not,
I just had to say because the coldness and it's been a theory that's out there, and I'm not going through it again. It's a joke, obviously.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but I do think so. I do like that. I for some reason so Doctor Strange, the evil Doctor Strange is coming in What If.
Yeah, it's one of
That
the most
has to do with
anticipated
something in
episodes.
this. Maybe, maybe not. And if not, I kind of like I kind of like your theory. It's she's just basically broken. Like this is a broken Strange going through some mental hurdles. We're gonna see it continue with this. We're gonna see it continue with the Multiverse of Madness, and honestly, every single sorcerer that's involved in the Multiverse of Madness is literally broken.
Yeah, and you
Who's to
said it
say
yourself.
Sylvie doesn't
Yeah,
pop up? Loki,
right.
Sylvie's broken.
Oh, yeah.
Doc Strange is broken. Wanda's broken. I mean, everybody's literally broken, and that all plays into the no pun madness. It
I
does.
yeah, I think someone posted on what's it called on Twitter or Instagram, and they said they said Wong is so fed up with Strange's shit that he wanted to go beat him, beat up some low tier villains in Shang Chi. That's why
I
he
just saw
left.
another one that says every time something's about to happen, Wong just disappears. It's kind of hilarious. He literally does.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, ever since the man died in Doc Strange and was brought back, he's just runs from everything.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, so in the trailer, we see Doc, performing the spell for Peter, telling him that everybody's going to forget who he is. There's a couple layers of that I wanted to talk to you about. The first being obviously they make it seem in context wise that Peter's the reason why the spell fails. Okay, first of all, Sorcerer Supreme would not have a spell fail because somebody's talking too much, right? Like, so
If they went, bro, if they went that way in the
there's
movie,
no
oh
way
my
that's
god.
it's a context thing for
Yes.
sure. Just
Yep.
based off we know everything else in the trailer's context, right? It, when you see the essential multiversal collapse with Strange when he's performing the spell, it looks very Loki-esque, right? The
Yeah.
Citadel, outside the Citadel-esque, has
Yeah.
that vibe, the
Definitely.
look, the
Yeah. Yeah.
cinematography, right? 100% Sylvie stabbing Kang had to do with that.
Oh, absolutely. And
His
I
spell
think,
broke
yeah,
because of Sylvie destroying Kang. I can't remember what is his name. The name I
he
told
who
you,
remains.
He Who Remains, but the one I told you that tries to kill other versions of himself. I brought him up. in episode 6 of Loki or 5 of Loki.
Oh
There's another.
gosh,
What's the variant of King that knows that King is bad, but tries to stop all the Kings from being bad?
I wish I could tell you.
I
I don't have his
can't
name
remember the name for
off
the
the
life
top
of
of my
me.
head.
I had it up, but either way, He Who Remains is one version of the name. Um, yeah, him dying is the reason why the spell fell apart, and then essentially breaks up Peter's multiverse because I think what Strange does is pull pieces of Peter's hair
Yep,
and uses it
like a Thor
spell wise,
Ragnarok.
almost like the
Exactly. So
exactly
that's
just like the
probably. So I
Ragnarok.
think his hair sort of triggered. Oh wait, these
The,
are
the
variants of
DNA
X character,
variant
and then
of
they brought in.
right, and within that spell. So here this is going deep. This is kind of like foil hat a little bit, but okay. So is it necessarily a spell that just makes people forget, or is it a spell that brings things a little bit back in time, similar to the time stone? Right. Mind
So
you, he has the
yeah.
Agamotto on his neck. But besides that point, if that's the case, and it's let's say it's more of a time reversal slash multiversal thing, right? Wouldn't all of these other characters appearing, villains appearing in this trailer, make a lot of sense? Like, I don't how am I really gonna go about this? So like all the MJs in every universe forgot who their Peter was. All the villains in this movie from the other multiverses technically forgot who Peter was, but then I don't know, like I can't even really try to explain what I'm trying to say. Like I almost think they went back to before these people died. Doc Ock is still alive because it's right before he died.
Okay.
Goblin,
You know what
same
I
thing.
think? Yeah. So like that's why I'm not a huge fan of the direction they're taking with this whole multiverse route.
It's like multiverse time
Um.
travel.
Yeah. So like.
I feel like I have a tinfoil
So
hat
for Doc Ock,
on.
I said before that the reason why I predicted this months ago when like Jamie Foxx outright confirmed that he was going to be appearing in the new Spider-Man movie, and then he
Yo,
took
he's
on
lucky
Chance
he's
to
Jamie
do so.
Foxx.
He's incredibly lucky he wasn't fired for that. And Alfred Molina too. I mean, he outright confirmed in the interview. He was like, yeah, when I spoke to John Watts, he said the safe space immediately will make character sacrifice himself in the river. Like, and then JV Smoove, one of the teachers of Peter Parker in the movie, or he plays one of the teachers, and he says in an interview, he's like, I'm so excited for Jamie Foxx. He's my man. And then the interviewer asks him, which Spider-Man are you most excited for Tom Holland to share a screen with? Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield. He's like, oh, Tobey Maguire, of course, man. like there's no filter with these actors for some reason.
No,
Um,
they're like,
you know what I mean? And like, so they're in the movie, obviously. This is multiversal.
right.
And to go back to what you're saying, I think like
Mind you, JB was at his prime in acting when Toby was too, so they probably have some kind of relationship within the celebrity first.
oh
Right?
yeah,
That's probably
yeah,
why there's, you know what
yeah.
I mean. So
But I don't know. It's just like I don't like that, truthfully. Like you know what would be really mad if you listen to movies like moments before their technical death, they're like sucked in to a portal, and then like Green Goblin, like before like the glider pierces him, he's like get teleported, goes into our universe, and and then like they teleport back and just end up dying. That'd be so stupid. But I don't see how else they can do it because Goblin was is dead. Doc Ock is dead.
right,
Electro is dead.
right.
Rhino is alive.
Well,
Lizard is alive.
honestly, the only confusion I have though, and how they do that is they're so what I think you're saying is they're going to be pulling each Spider-Man out in of the universe, but technically in the scenes of which they were against those villains. Those villains then go in those portals as well, right? That's the
Yeah,
concept.
that's like a
But
proposal I have. I
right,
mean,
so like
I'm not saying
let's
it's the
say if
direction they'll
that's the case,
take,
if
but
that's the case, then like how did Lizard get in there? Right, he wasn't fighting Lizard and Electro at the same time.
no, they were fighting them as separate. Oh Jesus Christ! Yeah.
So it would get
See,
way
that's
too
why like
confusing. That's what I'm saying. So
yeah.
I honestly think some of them may
Electro.
be the exact villain of the old Spider-Man, or They could just be other variants of those same villains in different universes.
See, no, it's not though, because Alfred Molina said he's playing the same one. He's playing the same Doc Ock.
Oh, I don't
So it's
know.
not Jamie
There's a rumor
Foxx.
that the chip was upgraded in him or whatever, and it's total control. He's a simple like dead corpse
Yeah, yeah.
basically.
The legs, or arms, technically, definitely took control over him.
No, they're saying even further so though. Like he's literally a dead corpse essentially. It's just the arms
Oh, Jesus
controlling
Christ.
him and his body.
That'd be highly dark. And then Jamie Foxx had like a massive glow up in the leaked set photo where he's just wearing like a attire similar to his comic accurate outfit.
Right.
So he's no longer blue, and there's
yellow.
so much we could talk about in that.
Right.
No disrespect, Jamie Foxx, but what were you doing, man? Or what were you doing taking on that role? I don't know why you read
he didn't know. He probably thought it was MCU at the time. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah.
No, so
everyone
helps,
though, right?
We'll see exactly how they go about it. But look, we all know it. Let's not deny it. We know for a fact all the Spider-Men are going to end up in the film together. One of the scenes, I'm pretty sure the scene with the Iron Spidey suit is there's two other Spider-Men right next to him. They just blocked it out.
That yes,
100%.
so
That is. I think all the Sinister Six are on that bridge, ready to kick their ass.
Possibly, and I think no. Here's why. I believe they're off on their own. You get what I mean? So there's presumably there's 6 villains in the movie, Sinister Six. One of which is not appearing until near the end of the movie. I believe the only theory that I 100% agree with is when Doc Ock says hello, Peter. He's talking to Tobey Maguire. They just put in Tom Holland equipping the Spider-Man suit. The Iron Spider
that's
suit.
actually part of the scene.
Yeah.
If you look at it, the way it was kind of switched off, it was like the secondary scene to that main scene. It was
the backdrop
Toby
is
says,
different too.
"Oh shit," or whatever he says, right?
Yeah.
And then Peter's like, "I'm supposed to be nervous about that, right?" And then puts on his Spidey suit. Like,
yeah,
that's
and also
for sure. You could tell.
And if you look at like the background as well, they're not consistent with the bridge scene as well.
We may not even get all three on the same at the same time. Maybe Toby's like the older Spider-Man that gives him certain lessons from that perspective. I think this is Peter of Tom Holland's Peter. This is his last mentor film where he needs advice to be the best superhero he can be.
I hope so, man.
I honestly think that's the purpose of what they're doing here.
They're fighting against each other. There's like a whole set piece. There's definitely going to be a whole set piece with them. There's no way they wouldn't have them fight together. It's like one of the main selling points of the movie. There's one. There's really
they probably all three do, but I think he's gonna get certain meet them at different times.
Yeah, they're meeting with different. Yeah.
Right,
like for instance, I want there to be like so I'll make a promise to you like right now. It's obviously months before the release of the film. If they do the like the pointing Spider-Man meme, if you want to refer to where they have points, if they do that, I'll give the movie an automatic 5 out of 5 stars.
If they don't do that, I will walk out of the film.
Yeah, like no matter what, I will give the film an automatic 5 out of 5 stars.
If they do that, if they do that, I don't care if Doc Ock has one arm. I don't care if Green Goblin is a literal dead body. I don't care if they make 46 MJs jump Peter and beat the shit out of him. I don't care if Venom is actually canon. I don't care about any of it. That's awesome. Like that'd be funny as shit. Yeah. But at least so far within, obviously we talked about all these main villains that are in the film. Confirmed. We have Green Goblin throw one of his pumpkin bombs. We have Doc Ock literally appear. We have Sandman and Electro in a separate scene. We see Electro's yellow light and Sandman's smoke. It looks like smoke, which is weird. Kind of crazy because he Peter just fought the fake elementals too, so it's like Sandman's an actual elemental, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, which is nice.
Yeah. So Sandman obviously confirmed as well. I mean, who are we thinking are 5 and 6 for the Sinister Six? I mean, are we thinking Mysterio's still alive? So if that's the case, he's 5.
Yeah, let me. Oh, I know the 5. So it's going to be Doc Ock, Goblin. Goblin will take the lead of the Sinister. So let me. Let me do the leader first. So Goblin,
Goblin.
Doc Ock,
Mm-hmm.
Electro,
Mm-hmm.
Sandman,
Mm-hmm. Lizard.
Lizard,
Oh,
because
lizard. That's right. Lizard. He
Lizard made
popped
an
up big and
appearance.
into the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for context, everyone, there's like a quick scene where like Peter suddenly looks behind him, and there. Fortunately enough, there are a fair share of people who tried zooming in and clearing the image. It looked like a tail. People thought it was Venom originally because there's a bit of whiteness.
Right.
So it's either a tail or an arm.
Right.
I believe I want to say a tail.
Okay.
Um, it's very hard to look at. They purposely like kept that backdrop as dark as possible,
Right.
just
Right.
so we can only assume. And then the noise being made is not venom like,
It seemed like
anyways.
that was in the Sanctorum too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think when he breaks the spell, there's like images around Peter that are showing all the different universes, and they're trying to break through to him.
Well,
Like
look at
it's
his clothes though. Did you see his clothes? It's
who?
not consistent with what we saw in the Sanctum.
Oh, just him
So
back in the
I
Sanctum.
think they're being held captive. That's like a prison cell.
Uh,
Now,
for
right?
now, well, Strange probably basically put him there for
Yeah.
now. That
I mean, they escape at some. So that's why I'm thinking. Like the
right,
whole. Well, and remember, like Peter was holding this cube. You saw in the trailer too.
right,
What is he doing with that?
right. I'm almost wondering if uh, so maybe they meaning all the Spider-Man catch one by one the Sinister Six, and then they all escape to attack one more time.
No, I don't even think that. I think this is escape. Um,
Whatever original prison they were in.
what? Yeah, you know what I mean. Like I think
Right.
Goblin's probably the one who's like trying to talk to Peter Strange. Is like, hey, let us out of here, or it could be Doc Ock because I think the Goblin and Doc Ock are probably are definitely the more
Right.
intellectual members of the
Right.
Sinister
Right.
Six, so they can try to manipulate them. Strange won't budge. Peter,
God, I
I mean,
can't wait to see
he's
Garfield.
yeah, he's as naive as where we saw him in Far From Home. So I wouldn't be surprised like one of the villains tell him, "Hey, man, uh,
So you got Lizard as five. Who's your sixth proposal?
um, I'm thinking Rhino or Rhino, Mysterio, or Scorpion."
Scorpion's already out there too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
but I feel like Sony forgot about him.
probably
So
knowing them.
but I'm thinking Mysterio, and there's a question I want to propose to you is that what would you do if all of this was just like an illusion by Mysterio again?
He wouldn't have known
No, but I mean to say like
who.
what if yeah, but what if though? No pun intended.
I would consider it, even if they did the Spider-Man pointing thing, it'd be the worst filming thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I would agree.
there's no chance though, because he wouldn't have known. I mean, to use them specific, like no, to use other Spider-Man and stuff, like it's just crazy. Plus, how would he get into Sanctor? No, 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 no,
No,
no, no,
no,
no. No
no.
chance. And honestly, I would probably actually never watch a Spider-Man film again if that happened. Quote me on that. But yeah, that's about it for the trailer. And I'm most hyped. Honestly, I'm just as hyped with Eternals as well. Can't lie. Hype on a different spectrum, if you want to call it, more so because it's new characters, new introductions, new everything. And I want to see the explanations behind a lot.
Yeah,
And
they need. Yeah, I think No Way Home is going to be boggled down in a lot of exposition,
right,
just so they can actually explain how some of these villains are returning.
right.
And then, second, I oh my goodness, I'm trying to figure out like a way to word this. Like when No Way Home comes out, I think regardless of where people stand on the quality of the film, right? The movie itself looks ugly, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Like the cinematography, it's awful. The CGI is very noticeable, especially like the de-aging effect with Alfred Molina. But that
Mhm.
won't matter. You know what I mean? No one goes to like a Spider-Man movie looking for like some groundbreaking filmmaking. They just want to see their favorite Spider-Man. I mean, now we know for certain their favorite Spider-Man are going to be on screen at some point in the movie. And that's what I'm excited about because I would love to see them share the screen together. All three share the screen together. It represents three different generations. Um, and I think like we'll just see the end result.
Right.
If this will be a memorable one. It's a ambitious crossover, and it can go one or two ways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I am
something that
excited though.
extremely
That
anticipated though.
yeah.
I'm hoping this can help Sony expand their universe on a good front. I'm hoping this can help just the multiverse go really well, and maybe give these other two actors a final finish to the series that they started. I'd love to see that. So
Yeah.
all
What
right,
if,
so
huh?
yeah, all what if, baby, what if. So we are on to the what if episode. That trailer review went a little longer than expected, but that's okay. We can get through this thing pretty quickly as far as what if. It's one episode this time. We're not doing two, so that's good. Um, what if the Avengers were killed by a serial killer? When I first saw that, so I went to go watch this morning, and I go and look at the title. I'm like, damn, they're going dark with this what if stuff. Like, we're over here killing Avengers now. Okay. Um, First initial thoughts for me, definitely an episode that was different. I never thought they'd go back and focus on the pre-Avenger stages of the what if world, right? As far as like right before the Avengers were kind of assembled. um I didn't mind it. So overall the episode, I give it like a three out of five. um
Yeah, I'm more like a 2.5
yeah,
around
it's
there.
not, I can even go
Nothing
2.5.
was,
Nothing
nothing
ecstatically
was.
amazing
Yeah,
for sure.
the twist
um
was interesting.
it was really different. It was
You
really
know,
different, and I'm almost, I'm kind of wondering what was the what if. What was the what if in the beginning? What's the
the title of the episode.
no? So what changed? Like, so technically, the what if is what if Hope joined Shield, right? Because then Hope dies in Shield,
Oh, you're saying like what caused the
right?
what if
In every
episode?
episode, there's been a
Oh,
specific. It's Hope joining Shield
I think so,
and
right?
dying,
Is that's what I took away from it?
right?
It's like
Because
Hope.
usually they show that like right away. Like the Watcher says it. He
Yeah.
didn't say specifically. He just
Well, yeah. I mean, the confusing part for me is that and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't watched this movie since it's released. In Ant-Man and the Wasp, or even we go back to the original Ant-Man as well, where there's a Hope Van Dyne reference
mm-hmm,
where we see Hank Pym interacting with those the Shield members, Howard Stark at the time.
mm-hmm,
So we know for a fact that Hope presumably died in Ukraine when they were attempting to defuse this nuclear bomb.
wait, you're talking about Janet. Hope is his daughter.
Oh, okay.
Hope, Hope.
So Hope.
Remember,
Oh,
Hope
never
was
mind, never mind, never mind.
always for her
Yeah.
dad and never wanted anything to do with Shield in the first two movies because her
Oh,
dad hated
yeah,
Shield.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
This
yeah, yeah,
world
yeah.
is where Hope presumably didn't care about that and joined Shield anyway and died just like her mother Janet. So that's the what if, is what if
Oh,
Hope
okay,
actually
gotcha.
joined
I was
Shield instead
confusing.
and
Like
then
I said, I
presumably
haven't watched the
right,
Ant-Man
no,
movie in
and
a
then
long time, so I
eventually died,
confused the
right? So
names
yeah,
around.
so it's
Yeah.
Hope and Janet Van Dyne.
Okay. Oh,
um
that's the what if. Oh, I thought like the what if is, yeah, because I
no,
was
it's not
confused
Janet,
about
yeah.
that because when I saw Hope, I'm like, isn't this like the same plot as
No,
what we saw in Ant-Man? That's why I
no,
was
it's
confused about
definitely
that. I'm
Hope
pretty
is the
sure Hope
daughter.
and
So the
yeah,
daughter
I thought
essentially dies.
yeah, because I thought Hope or I know for a fact Janet and Hank were in Shield by the time of her death. So I was like,
Right. That's
so
they
is
were
the what
working for
if
Shield
like
when that
Hank
bomb.
gained so much resentment for Shield that he just becomes a murderer, and I realized oh his daughter was like
Right.
the trigger point for
His
him to
daughter was the
go
actual
down this dark path.
that was the
Okay,
like last line, like last
yeah.
straw, right?
Thank you for the
Uh,
clarification because I
Right.
was
So
getting
Hope
those two mixed around.
essentially
Okay,
sacrificed herself to help the mission. And that's,
right, like her
another
mother.
second sacrifice like her mother. So he lost his wife,
Okay,
he lost his daughter.
okay,
Um so we went a little too far to kind of about the episode, but basically, throughout the episode, Tony Stark is killed. When Black Widow attempts to give him the antidote to help his chemical reaction from the arc reactor.
yeah.
Um, Colson's in it. Woo! I love Clark Gregg so much, man. So happy. Um, Black Widow fight like crazy. Rumlow and his crew just gets their ass whooped every single time we see them. So just whatever. Um, Hawkeye kills Thor, or at this time before we know what's going on. Hawkeye kills Thor, and that's during the first Thor film.
Yeah, the big leap.
Um, Hawkeye's like, just the arrow slipped. Like, I, I didn't do this and I don't slip. And he's like going crazy. Then Barton is killed as well. And what they all think might have been like a cyanide pill or some kind of poison. They weren't able to figure it out right away. Um, Betty Ross makes her return to the MCU, which I think is awesome because everybody
Yeah,
hates the Incredible Hulk movie.
yeah, that was really
um,
cool.
but
Mark
it's
Ruffalo also plays Bruce Banner this time around, as opposed to Edward
yes,
Norton,
yes, he
just to
did a
maintain that
great job as always.
continuity.
Had a good camaraderie with, with Black Widow, and of course Betty. Uh, he's shot right away, and everybody's like, "Why try to shoot the Hulk?" And Thunderbolt Ross is like, "Who the hell shot the Hulk?" And it ended up being not really a shot. It was who we end up finding out is the main villain of this whole thing. Um, Hank Pym. So as we just discussed, Hank Pym's wife was killed on a Shield mission, and the what if for this is what if his daughter Hope had joined Shield, and as she does join Shield, she dies in an operation as well, which effectively makes Hank go crazy. Hank is now Yellow Jacket instead of Ant-Man, and he is literally assassinating the entire Avengers initiative, of which he found out by hacking the Shield database. Remember, Fury has his Avengers Initiative information in the Shield database, and you remember when Black Widow was getting Coulson's password, which by the way is Steve, I love you something Steve, because he's obsessed with Captain America. Play on to Avengers 1. Um, she says, and I didn't catch it at first, but then I had to play it back. She says, Hope has been dead for 2 years. How did she log into this? That right away, I was like, I should have thought Hope. You're talking about Hope Van Dyne,
I
which
thought
means
about
it's
that as
Hank's,
well.
which means Hank. It is at least related to this. And then as you see Black Widow get her ass whooped and killed, uh, you don't see anybody actually hitting her. I'm like, okay, I thought it was Ant-Man. I didn't even know it was Yellow Jacket. A version of Yellow Jacket.
Yeah,
But yeah, so obviously at that point, Hulk being shot was not him being shot. It was actually, you find out Hank himself was in Hulk, which gets me back to the whole Thanos theory that if Ant-Man just went up his butt and expanded, boom, we would have won. Just saying, faster at least. We wouldn't have won because he
I
was
feel
in
like if the
quantum realm.
gauntlet
But
were to go onto the ground though, it would still initiate the snap.
I don't know.
Even if
Mid-snap.
even if Ant-Man imploded. So yeah,
He-
I wish. I wish that should be what if. What if Ant-Man put inside Thanos? Be very
blew his ass
suspicious,
up.
suspiciously titled episode, but
Right.
I don't know. I think Disney wants to keep it you know,
PG 13ish.
PG
So
13.
when
Yeah.
when Thor is killed in the episode, or not when exactly, but at some point Loki comes for vengeance for his brother. He sees his brother's killed. Odin's obviously probably upset and sends the Asgardian army, the Warriors 3, and Loki to avenge him, right? Avenge on the other perspective. Uh, essentially gives Nick Fury an ultimatum: give me the guy uh that killed my brother, or I'm going to destroy the planet. Which plays on to Avengers 1 again, and that he's supposed to try to do that anyway. Um, I don't mind it. As far as the episode, I don't mind it. I think it's a little different twist, something I didn't expect at all. I didn't think Hank would be a focus. Um, really crazy that they're willing to just kill all the Avengers like that. Um, and by the end of it, we kind of see what we see the fight with between what we think is Nick Fury and Hank Pym, and Nick Fury is whooping ass, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like Fury doesn't do that. Like he fights in the comics, right? Like he
Yeah.
could fight, but he can't beat Yellow Jacket or Ant-Man. And then we go to find out it's Loki playing his images, of course. Um, when Hank's arrested, he said, "I just want Hope to be honored by Shield. That's been my only hope for the first place." We see Nick Fury attempt or what we thought was going to call Captain Marvel with this beeper way earlier than when he does in Infinity War. And the biggest thing for me is we finally get President Loki, which is a
Yeah.
variant
That,
of
that's a,
Loki.
yeah, that's a Very interesting setup, actually.
Yeah, I wonder if it has anything to do with Loki specifically or not. But I know for sure that President Loki was in the Loki series in the what is that, the realm or whatever realm they were in. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, yeah. I think yeah, so overall I thought the episode was the problem is pacing. Pacing is way too fast, and it was for me it
I
was
could
so
go for longer
difficult
episodes.
to sort of process the death of each Avenger. They were played more for shock value rather than, oh, let's take the time. I mean, I understand why they don't necessarily have to develop them per se, because we sort of know their own individual journeys, so to speak. So I appreciate all of them being in character. Um, from Clint to Thor to Natasha, to Banner to Stark, etc. I think I might have repeated a name in there,
Mm-hmm.
but um, yeah, I don't have much to say, in all honesty. Um, I thought the twist was interesting, but illogical to a degree. Like, I understand, like, Hank is full of resentment, but then near the end, he said all he wanted was hope for, or like a tribute, or like you said, like recognition for Hope's sacrifice,
Right.
and that pretty much could have been done with a single phone call. So I just wish they kind of like fleshed out
Even Nick says
why he
he's like,
becomes
we
a
never didn't honor Hope. Like Hope represented everything that Shield was supposed to represent. She made the ultimate sacrifice for the world, and whatever
yeah,
her mission was, that's what she did.
yeah, and
And
that kind of
who's
like
Hope could have
yeah.
been Wasp at the time too. Who knows? If
Oh,
things in this what if
absolutely.
world, she could have already been Wasp. So
Yeah, and I just feel because a character like King Pym wouldn't be subject to such, uh, I don't know, like darkness,
yeah.
lack of a better word.
Well, losing your wife
Um,
and daughter would, I mean,
yeah,
wife
absolutely.
alone
I mean,
will change you, but
well, I mean to say like it to a point where you're just willing to kill people who have absolutely nothing to do with you. Like why not just try to convince them separately of Shield's wrongdoings? Why not send them
which is what they've
trials of
started to find out
how?
themselves.
Right. Why not put tab like prove to them, hey, listen, Shield's putting tabs on you. They know your personal history, where your family lives. Well, Clinton's probably the only exception, right?
Right.
But yeah, I mean that right there that can build a huge mistrust. If this episode took place before Avengers did, and Hank Pym successfully convinced all the Avengers not to face off against Loki, then we could have easily had the same outcome we see at the end of this episode. I think this episode should have just been placed elsewhere, in my opinion.
I mean,
Um,
they could have literally done like a evil Avengers perspective, like they could. I mean, maybe they do that eventually. We'll
sure.
see, but
I'm excited. Yeah, but overall, I think What If is off to a bit of a rocky start, but I think episodes like next week's with the evil Doctor Strange or something we were hinting at the beginning,
right.
the whole Ultron and Vision fusion that we might have, which bring in all of the previous characters like Captain Carter, um, T'Challa as a Star Lord, um, maybe even Doctor Strange too from next week's episode.
Right.
It's awesome. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I think we're gonna see all that come
you know what I mean?
together. At the end of the episode, the post credits, if you want to call it, for this episode, he got Captain Marvel to come back to Earth way, way, way earlier. So in this universe, like they may beat Thanos ahead of time. I mean, Cap Marvel being ready to help fight Infinity War makes a big difference
Oh, absolutely.
if that ends up being the case. And he's still able to recruit Steve Rogers. Steve is still frozen at the time; they haven't found him.
Yeah,
So
I was thinking the same too. Like in the back of my mind, I was wondering
they're probably
where's
better
Steve
off.
during all. Yeah,
They're
where's
probably
Steve
better off.
during all of this? Well,
They're
who knows? I mean, Tony Stark was definitely instrumental for the fight against Thanos. So I
Yeah,
don't
he
know.
got
They
his
might be
ass
in
whooped.
a.
I'm just saying, Captain Marvel will probably have a better chance to help than anything. And
Hey,
I
you know
mean,
what?
shit. Hey, listen, Loki. Maybe Loki running the planet helps prevent any of that from happening.
Or maybe we have Reed Richards
Oh,
Ripley
don't even,
take over.
don't
Yeah,
even talk to me like
I
that.
said this to
Now
make you
you're
happy.
talking
Yeah.
dirty. Now
So
you're talking
there are
dirty.
some, like I said, it's the same as I've said before. Like same for episode 2 and the same for here. There are interesting elements. It's just that we need longer episodes.
Yeah, I don't
That's
think
it.
with animation they're not going to. They're depending on
But
our knowledge of the
yeah,
previous movies and
yeah.
just hoping that we just go along with it. Which, by the way, Horizon Forbidden West is officially confirmed to come out on February 18th. I just got the notification for it. I had to tell you.
Oh, of next year.
Horizon, yep, Forbidden West, yep.
Oh, nice.
Sorry, random
Gamescom.
rant there. So look, overall, I think they're Rocky's the best way to put it. A little bit up and down. Content for like to hold us off. We got Shang-Chi next week, and then we got Eternals not too far after, and then we got Spider-Man, and then we got Multiverse of Madness, and then we got. I mean, come on, we got like massive amounts of content,
And we
different
have
series.
DC.
Hawkeye coming.
Yeah.
You know, some good DC movies coming with the Batman, and come on, we're here with the content, baby. That's all we need. That's all we
That's
need.
all we
But
need, baby.
as
All we need.
always, we thank you guys for hopping in and checking out our vids. Matt, if you want to tell them where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, Matt underscore T29. 29, yeah, over on Instagram. As always, thank you for the support. We'll be back hopefully. Wait, is it really next week?
Next week, Friday.
Shang-Chi comes out?
Well, yeah, next week Friday we
Or well, technically
record.
Thursday because we're watching the
we watched Thursday. We watched
yeah.
Thursday.
Wow, that's crazy. I honestly I didn't even put that into perspective.
Flying by, brother. Flying by.
Wait, yeah. So I think from tomorrow will be exactly a week.
Yep.
Jesus. Sorry, folks.
You're good.
Long story short, there's a bunch of Marvel content. Any view they give us, any like, share, comment, etc., really helps the OTS guys page grow, especially for Derek and all the other wonderful podcasts we have over here on the channel. In any case, thank you for everything, and we'll be back next week to discuss Shang-Chi, as well as What If Episode 4, possibly. These episodes go for a long period of time, so we'll see.
So
we'll see.
We'll see what happens. But of course, thank you guys. You can find me at John_OTS on all social media platforms. Head over to the Facebook page On the Sidelines. Drop a like. Head over to the On the Sidelines group. Request to join. Come and talk about anything Marvel. We got people talking about Marvel today with their theories about who's the next Black Panther and what's going on with the multiverse and the new Spider-Man trailer. We have discussions at all times. It's fun to have. And come on and join this podcast. You're more than welcome to head over to otsguys.com, drop an email to us, and tell us you're interested in joining any of the podcasts on our platform. We love having guests. We don't care who you are or where you're from or any of that, man. We love Marvel. If you love Marvel, we love DC ish. If you love DC, we love Star Wars, depending on some things. If you love Star Wars, come on in. We can be heroes. Heroes exist in all of our universes that we love to watch. We're geeks for this stuff. We're the biggest geeks you can think of, and we love doing what we do. Peace and love. We can be heroes, baby.
Peace.